Even more than in the Industrial Revolution, the knowledge economy of today is deeply dependent on processor leadership. But processors have a tough road to leadership. Not matching the stereotypes and joining the team a few seasons after everybody else, the odds are stacked against them. To overcome their internal and external leadership challenges, processors need to follow these three principles. They need to focus on what is important, they need to build bridges, and they need to learn to love leaning in. Let's get started with focusing on what is important. The value of a processor grows as the horizon gets further out. The hare made it to the first checkpoint in the lead. It wasn't until that final stage that the tortoise won. Additionally, in the short run, the natural misalignment of a visionary operator processor team is greater. If the processor and the team can stay focused on what is truly important for the entire team, then the processors will have a greater shot at their contributions being acknowledged and implemented. To do so, processors, you have to lighten up. Your constant risk assessment and threat forecasting is of value, but only as you keep moving forward. If you stop, the fear and the risk will paralyze you. This is where processors get into trouble with a team because they simply will not, and to a degree cannot, move forward. The second principle is to build bridges. Processors need to speak up more often, and preferably in the form of questions. Often content to just sit by on the sidelines, processors will quietly judge the stupidity of the team's whims and bad ideas. This has two negative effects. First, the team will distrust them or disregard them altogether. Second, the processor will go prideful and buy into the belief that they are always smarter, which from an IQ sense may be true, but in doing so, they start to believe they're better than everyone else, which actually increases the distrust and disregard for them. Speaking more often then gives the processor an opportunity to learn and to understand. Their vulnerability in sharing, especially when the idea isn't fully baked, makes them more human to the rest of the team and builds greater trust going both ways. Instead of saying no, consider what it would take to get to a yes. As a processor, you can poke holes in anyone else's idea. Honestly, that's not impressive. What is impressive, what counts as a processor leader, is to not only identify the gaps, but to help fill them. The third principle is to learn to love leaning in. It's impossible to predict the future with certainty. As proud as you are of the data you have, that data is from the past, and it only hints at what you can expect in the future. No amount of data or analysis will remove all the risk. Some lessons are actually best learned as you go. Part of the value of a team is that you can lean into the strengths of other team members. Visionaries can have an unwarranted degree of confidence to move into uncertainty. Sure, sometimes that's problematic, but more often than not, it's exactly what the team needs to get started. Operators may not be able to build an assembly line, but they sure can assemble the first solution incredibly fast. Though it won't be elegant, it will work, and your systems and processes will be far more effective if they are improving a known solution rather than making it up. Failure isn't death. It's not the end. It's an opportunity to learn. Don't let your fear of failure or imprecision keep you from taking that first step and learning as you go. When you take that step within the strength of a team, you'll find that together you have what you need to succeed. We need you. We need processor leaders more than ever. We need systems thinkers and process designers who are willing to step into the ring with visionaries and operators to debate the best ideas, commit to that decision, and stick it all the way through to a truly effective and scalable implementation. Now, if you'd like to continue to develop your processor leadership gifting, then I'd like to encourage you to take our online course, How to Be an Exceptional Processor Leader. You'll find a link in the description below. I hope you've enjoyed this series, and I cannot wait to see you become a brilliant processor leader.